Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're diving deep into some crucial concepts to help us better understand the intricate web of society and identity. In this lesson, we will cover crucial information that will help lay the foundation for how we understand future lessons and assignments. You will want to have your notes ready. We will explore ideas of positionality, intersectionality, privilege, power, and marginalization. These concepts are the keys to unlocking a deeper understanding of how our world functions and how individuals experience it based on their social identity. Some of the ideas may make you uncomfortable as you think about your own life, and that's okay. Just be patient, open-minded, and willing to learn. Let's begin with the concept of positionality. Positionality is a social construction formed by what society perceives to be our identifying features. And it's much more than just physical features. This term refers to where we stand in society based on our social and cultural identities. Furthermore, our positionality shapes how we perceive the world, influencing our thoughts, actions, and interactions. You will have an opportunity to assess your positionality in greater detail using this Wheel of Power and Privilege diagram. For the purposes of this lesson, it would be helpful for you to keep a copy of this diagram handy to better follow along. It can be found in the Exploring Your Own Positionality assignment. Oftentimes, we find that the concepts of intersectionality, privilege, power, and marginalization intertwine with one another. Consider your own background as you examine the Wheel of Power and Privilege diagram. Consider where you fit best within the depicted categories on the wheel to gain a clearer understanding of your positionality in society. Remember, each person is unique. Thus, each person's approach to assessing their positionality is unique. This is not a judgment exercise. There is no right or wrong, good or bad position. It's one of many ways to reflect on your own life and how you are positioned within society. Knowing this can help you approach people and situations with greater awareness and openness to new perspectives. Now, let's introduce the idea of intersectionality, which was conceptualized by Kimberly Crenshaw at the end of the 20th century. Crenshaw is a professor at both Columbia and UCLA law schools, and a pioneer in the integrated nature of both racial and gender legal studies. Intersectionality is defined as the complex, cumulative way in which the effects of multiple forms of discrimination based on race, sex, and class status combine, overlap, or intersect, especially in regard to the experiences of marginalized individuals or groups. As an example, consider the positionality of an individual, say a white woman, and compare it with someone who is non-white and also identified as a woman. Both encounter some marginalization based on their gender identity as women. However, due to the concept of intersectionality, the person who occupies both the identities of being a woman and being non-white faces even greater marginalization. This added marginalization arises from the compounded effect of having two identities that hold less power in society. Later in this course, we will explore intersectionality more in depth, and you will have an opportunity to visualize your own intersectionality using this diagram. Additionally, we'll use this tool to illustrate the dynamic nature of identity, emphasizing that our identities don't neatly fit into rigid categories. But first, let me illustrate these concepts through a more specific example. I'll demonstrate how we can employ the Wheel of Power and Privilege to initially evaluate one's positionality and enhance our comprehension of the concept by considering a hypothetical individual. Meet Ronnie. He was born in the US, but both of his parents are from Latin America. He's a citizen, although both of his parents are not. He graduated with honors from his local high school and plans to attend a university, a first in his family. He identifies as a straight, cisgender man. Spanish is the primary language spoken in his home. However, he learned English and is fluent. His mother loves his baby face, which makes him look younger than he is. As you can see from just this brief exercise, depending upon each characteristic he has, Ronnie may be closer to the center of power, or he may find himself on the outer rim and more marginalized. Just as multiple roads cross at a busy intersection, intersectionality highlights how various aspects of our identity intersect and shape our experiences. It's not just about race, gender, or sexuality. It's the interplay of all our identities that molds our reality. Understanding intersectionality is crucial for breaking down stereotypes, fostering empathy, and allowing us to better understand ourselves. Let's take a moment for some more personal reflection. Think about the multiple ways your own identity may shape your world and experiences. As we unpack these concepts, privilege takes center stage. Privilege refers to the unearned advantages certain groups have due to their social identities. In this context, we're not talking about privilege that's earned, such as one's status due to formal education or training. Instead, we're focusing on recognizing the advantages tied to societal norms. Acknowledging these advantages may evoke emotions like guilt, shame, or confusion. Try not to be overwhelmed by these feelings, and remember, these are just socially constructed positions. They do not accurately reflect our value. All humans are equally valuable. Unfortunately, due to these social constructions, we are not always treated equally. Looking back at the wheel diagram, privilege relates to the areas closest to the center, which represents the center of power. This can look different in various parts of the world. What is seen as an advantage may change over time as well. Again, power and privilege, like the categories aligned with them, are socially constructed and reinforced by those who have it. For example, hundreds of years ago, it was a sign of privilege to be overweight. The ability to eat in abundance demonstrated that a person was wealthy. Today, that has changed. Health concerns surrounding obesity have shifted to privilege smaller body size. This is often compounded by society's changing beauty standards and what we see on social media. Recognizing that privilege exists does not take anything away from anyone. Rather, recognizing it empowers us to have more empathy, reject stereotypes based on socially constructed positions, and strive for a more equitable society. Now we will examine the concept of power. But before that, it's important to recall the definition of hegemony from our last video lesson. Hegemony is defined as the social, cultural, ideological, or economic influence exerted by a dominant group. In other words, the beliefs of those with privilege or power dictate societal norms. Power is the ability to influence and control resources, decisions, and outcomes. The more power one has, the more privileges, and the closer they are to the center of our wheel diagram. Power is not only found in institutions and systems, but also in our everyday interactions between friends, teachers, and parents. Understanding power dynamics is essential to challenging and reshaping systems of oppression and inequality. And finally, let's explore the concept of marginalization. This term describes the process by which certain groups are pushed to the fringes of society, denied equal opportunities, and often subjected to oppression. On our wheel, for instance, the further away from the center of power, the greater the marginalization within society. People who are marginalized are, in essence, pushed to the edges of the wheel and are taken out of focus, just as they are pushed to the margins of society. Marginalized groups may lack access to resources, representation, and voice. Recognizing marginalization enables us to stand up for justice and amplify voices that have been silenced. As we bring this lesson to a close, think about how you might see concepts of power and marginalization play out in your everyday life. And as a reminder, if you're uncertain about how these concepts play out in the world around you, consider pausing and reach out to an older friend or relative to discuss what you've learned so far. It may be helpful to hear their experiences to help make better sense of these interpersonal dynamics. Jot your thoughts and ideas down. You may use them in future assignments and projects. Just remember, these concepts are like puzzle pieces fitting together to give us a clearer picture of society and all its diverse experiences. Once you've got a handle on positionality, intersectionality, privilege, power, and marginalization, you're equipped to make a positive impact in the world. Thank you for your openness in exploring these vital concepts. As we continue in ethnic studies, keep these ideas close. Stay curious, embrace diverse perspectives, and remember that knowledge and self-reflection are superpowers for positive change.